All right, welcome back to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Program, Talking with your experience. So why did he stuck his umbrella there? Because as I was leaving Pam, I was looking for my umbrella that I had earlier. I'm like, where's my umbrella? Of course she took my umbrella. All right, so of course she took my umbrella. You know, this is the shit that they do, man. I talk about how, you know, last week was she put my jacket on the floor. You know, it's like when they took when I was in school, going to college, and you know, I had on my pea coat that I had with the detachable hood, right? And the detachable hood, I think it might have fell out in the street. I went into the class. I went back to the class to see who was there, wasn't there. So it might have fell out on the street, and I was like, okay, whatever. So I forgot about it, right? You know what I'm saying? A couple months later, you know, I walked in her apartment and it was right on the floor. Now, mind you, okay, I'm just like, okay, this is how long? All right? So they have a constant thing for doing that, man. Let me tell you. And, you know, of course they know that I'm not a certain type of person, so they can get away with doing what they're doing, right? Because if I was a different kind of man, she wouldn't be doing that shit, and I probably would end up in jail. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like I said, they know who they do this to. They understand your mindset. Some TIs, again, who they target, particularly, you know, I talk about Aaron Alexis, Myra Mays, Yvonne Hillen, you know, who was targeted at her job at Kraft, and she started shooting at the place. You know what I'm saying? What's his name? Aaron Alexis, who, you know, who was a Navy Yard shooter car, walked into the Navy Yard with a shotgun written on it saying, "This is my ELF, electromagnetic frequency weapon," right? And Myra Mace, who was a law student, and he was being targeted, you know, at the University of California. The University of Florida. Sorry. Right? And there are many others too. There's the Chinese guy, I forgot his name, upstate New York, walked into the unemployment office and started, you know, these are all targeted people who are targeted, people who have been manipulated, people who have been hit with direct energy weapons, silent sound, may have even been microchipped. Matter of fact, definitely microchipped. Okay? Right? And when the government tell you, oh, that these weapons don't exist and this and that, that's a lie, because guess what? A few years later, American diplomats hit with sonic weapons, right? ELF weapons. Okay? And look how nobody's talking about that anymore. Nobody's talking about these diplomats anymore. See how they're doing. Right? First they deny it. They deny it, but then, you know, when the proofs, actually I was one of the first to say this, they're lying. I don't know why they would deny it when the information is readily available to show you that microwave weapons have existed since the 1960s, right? When the Russians were bombarding the American embassy in Moscow with microwave radiation. And they couldn't understand why, right? I mean, they had electronic devices that would listen, wireless electronic devices to conversation, but that wasn't the goal. The goal was to influence the mind, the thinking, the behavior of the personnel. And the U.S. government hid it from the diplomats at the embassy for over a decade, because they themselves wanted to study the biological effect of human beings that were being hit with microwave and radio wave frequency weapons. Okay? So of course they would deny it. They have a history of denying these things because they want to study the effect of these things. All right? And like I said, I don't believe it was the Russians or the Chinese. I believe it was us, okay, the United States, that engaged in doing that to their diplomats. All right? Now, why did I say that? Because, again, they wanted to cause, if you notice, This started happening as soon as Barack Obama, President Obama, I should say, opened up diplomatic relationship with Cuba. Okay? I mean, the Russians had this technology for the longest while, the Chinese too. They wasn't doing this to the Americans who were in Cuba. Right? And the same thing happened in Europe, in Austria also, as well as in Vietnam also. And to us as TIs here in America. And in England, and in France. Right? And in China, okay? There are times when they'll use Chinese people to target me because they'll let me know that they got spies in China. You know, when they start sending me subliminal message about, you know, if you move to China, we're going to still target you because we got people in China, you know, you know what I'm saying? In Africa, right? It's funny though, because they don't send the Russians, which is hilarious, you know, but I'm sure they probably will now. You know, but they don't send the Russians. But at times they will use a lot of Chinese people. Okay. But and also online they'll send people. Was it? I think I had my account got my game account got hacked by a Russian bot. I don't, you know, it'd be a bot or whatever, any Russian person. So, you know, I no longer have access to that account because they changed my email. They changed the email and everything. But I'm saying, why would somebody do that? It's not like I had a lot of game on that account, which I didn't. So why would they do that? But again, you know, and at the time too, I think I was using a VPN. So I stopped using VPN because they're not secure. I mean, particularly, I was using a VPN from the UK, right? A VPN service in the UK. You know what I'm saying? No, but listen, don't. And countries like China and Russia, you can't get VPN from them. You know, like I used to use Perkapsky or something like that, which is a antivirus protection company. They make this antivirus program. Kaspersky, that's the name of it. And it was Russian owned, and so the United States, like, you know, you can't operate in the United States anymore. But these companies in the West, these companies that have these that we buy to, you know, antivirus software, malware software, the U.S. government have backdoor to their products, but yet they will accuse other nations who are adversary and their product when these companies that are in China and Russia, you know, selling these sort of companies, they're like, okay, then we got to ban these because the Chinese government is involved with this company. But the American government is involved with the same tech companies here in the United States. The same companies that make these anti-malware, anti-spyware programs, the United States government is directly involved in it. They have the backdoor keys to all of their software, including Microsoft Windows. Okay? Who's that? What is that? New York Predators Department? Or is that an ambulance? The lights flashing over there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You're a Predator Department, all right. All right. So, you know, like I said, if when you understand cognitive warfare, you understand how the U.S. government have manipulated the American public. Okay. In a way that is anti-American, in a way that is anti-constitutional, anti-human rights, and anti-civil rights. All for the sake of engaging in the Hearts and Mind campaign on Americans and people living in America. Okay? Okay, what the heck is going on here? Oh, look, all of a sudden the light is messed up, right? Yeah, look at that. Look at that. I mean, it was working before. Okay? It was working before, but as soon as the New York Predators Department came by, look. Listen, I was on the bus, so And I walked over here, all right? The light, it was working fine. But New York Predator Department shows up. Again, to show you how they'll do stuff like that to traffic lights. Like I said, when I was driving, they used to switch, like try to mess with me the traffic light. So the light would turn green and then it will turn back to red, right? And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So I would literally have to wait a couple seconds to really look at it. And I mean like a good 5 to 10 seconds before I can drive. Okay? Where they hack into the street signs. So let's say they're doing construction on the street, they have these street signs, right? The electronic signs, right? That'll let you know if the delays and stuff like that, right? Whenever I'm approaching an intersection where there's the construction going on, where they have the street signs, the electronic signs, they will have the word test. As soon as I approach, they will change it and it will say test on the street sign. Okay? That's the extent of what they do. You hear the noise campaign now? Again? Yeah. Like I said, they will start when I start to expose their shit too. And I can always tell when I'm exposing their shit that they don't want you to know. Look at this person. He could have gotten a hit. Fecal Department ambulance. I should say the Fecal Department of New York ambulance. Right? But yeah, these are things that I experienced being a TI. Being that I no longer drive. They're also sent me some message about taking away my license, right? Okay? So I can't have a license. I mean, what? You know what I'm saying? It's like, this shit is so ridiculous, okay? It is ridiculous. What you think? I'm going to use a car as a weapon? Listen, I've been a TI for how many years? I was driving when they were targeting me, just as bad. Sometimes even worse. Okay? I never think about using a car as a weapon to render somebody. Matter of fact, I'm always careful, particularly in the summertime. Particularly because I know children are out during the day and they love to run out in the street. So I'm always aware, being self-aware that there are kids playing in the summertime. And so I need to be very careful and, watch. Particularly when I start to see kids playing on the block. Particularly when they're playing with balls, like, anything that I would, be careful. Particularly when they're soccer ball or what have you, right? Because again, that is what you're supposed to do as a driver of a vehicle. Because again, when you operate in a vehicle, it is something that can cause serious bodily damage or even death. Okay? So you gotta understand that there's a certain responsibility that you have to have when you're driving a car. And a lot of people don't have it. Like I said, you see how they start targeting me, will drive fast right next to me, you know what I'm saying? Because again, they want to use it. Now, let's say they do that, something happened, they may hit a bump, the car jumped the curve, and I end up getting hit. Right? See, they don't think about shit like that. All they're thinking about is targeting you because again, they are radicalized, right? They are radicalized in a dangerous way to attack you, right? Because that is who they are. Deep down, that is who they are. So when I talk about, as a TI, you should understand that when they target you, they are not good people. They are not good people. Okay? And you've been manipulated, they've been manipulated to put you in this program so they can continue to experiment to do whatever they want to do. Cognitive warfare and training the population, training the civilian population to engage in psyops, to engage in covert warfare, to engage in cognitive warfare, while the same thing is being done to them. The same thing. Okay? I watched a video called The Constitutional Lawyers. The Institute of Justice? Institute of Justice is one. And there's another one, the Constitutional Lawyers. And they were talking about, this town, I think it was in Virginia, where they have cameras all over the place. And these cameras, basically, they can tell where you're going, they can identify who you are, where you're going, track your daily life. And again, unconstitutional. And again, and it's not run by the police department. The police department hire a private corporation to do this. Right? Mass surveillance out in public. I mean, listen, when he was talking about that, I was like, listen, you guys need to interview me. I can tell you right now, there's no privacy for me. None whatsoever. Okay? And there's no privacy for you too. If you think your life is private, it's not. It is not. Okay? What did we learn from the Snowden leaks? Right? What did we learn from the Snowden leaks? Now, okay, now I want you guys to understand, right? Like when the police vehicle, the van was passing, right? If the light was messed up, they could have called, or they could have stopped their vehicle right here or over there to direct traffic. Okay? Right? But that's not what they did. Like I said, the light was working fine. Okay, I mean, even though I wasn't paying attention to it, but I know that, or maybe it wasn't, I'm not quite sure, but I gotta look back at the video, which I'm probably not gonna do, but anyhow. But still, if the light wasn't working, why not, put a call in to say, hey, the light's not working between this intersection. Send a patrol car to, navigate this intersection right here. Really ridiculous. All right. Talk to you guys in a minute.